Hello and welcome everyone to CSE Core Concepts in my series of machine learning algorithms. In my earlier video, I have discussed about an unsupervised learning approach. I have given you a brief explanation about what is unsupervised learning approach and how do they differ from the supervised learning approach. In this video, I am going to discuss about one of a very popular unsupervised learning or clustering algorithm called as K-means clustering algorithm. It is a centroid-based clustering algorithm. But before we actually jump into the K-means clustering algorithm, I want to have a brief discussion about an approach called as an elbow method. Now, let me explain to you that in case if you are performing a k-means clustering, then you have to decide, as I told you, that in this algorithms, we do not have any prior idea about how many classes are going to be there in our data set. This is what it is different from that of a supervised learning. So randomly you have to start with some data, like you have to give to the user or you have to give to the model that how many clusters you want to create, right? Unlike in classification, you already had a knowledge that diabetes data set has two classes. Either yes, the patient has diabetes or he does not have diabetes. But here the mixed data is given and you are not even aware that how many classes can be formed. So in the beginning, you will have to tell your model that how many classes you want to create, right? So now you have to determine how it is the optimal number of cluster, and it is very difficult to give a guess. Okay, to guessing game is very difficult and it won't give you proper results that how many clusters would be good for this data set. So for determining the number of clusters, the optimal number of clusters for the given data set, a popular approach is used which is called as an elbow method, which is an heuristic approach. So heuristic approach means what? It will perform experiments and it will try to find out which one value is giving you the best result. Let's say, for example, you are assuming, first of all, you have to assume any value of k. K is the number of clusters which you want. Let's say k is equals to 10. So for each k value, it computes the WCSS, which is called as within cluster sum of squares. So what is sum of square? It is the sum of square distance between the data point and the centroid of the cluster. So let's say you have told that you want 10 clusters. So for each cluster, it is going to find out the WCSS values. And as you increase the number of k, means more clusters you want, the within sum squared of sum of squares will decrease, obviously, because you are selecting more number of clusters, right? So graph will change at a point and it creates an elbow shape and which is parallel to the x-axis. Let's say, for example, let me explain you this graph very precisely so it will be very clear to you for your understanding. Let's say, for example, this is the graph of number of clusters and versus WCSS, that is within cluster sum of squares. Okay. So this is 2 clusters, 4 clusters, 6 clusters, 8 clusters and 10. So you have given that, okay, I want, you have to give some initial value of k, let's say 10. So now what did it compute? The algorithm computed it is a heuristic approach, right? So it started with 2. So initially the algorithm said, let's say I have 2 clusters in the data. Then if I keep only 2 clusters in the data, what value am I getting for WCSS? It is very, very high. You are getting a value, you can see here. The point is here. So you are getting a very, very high value. Fine, no problem. Then next is the 4. Okay, so at 4, again you are getting a value. Let's say here you are getting a value, some WCSS. Now somewhere between 4 and 6 you can see here you are getting this value. 6 you are getting this value, WCSS. So you can see one thing, that as your number of clusters, that is k, is increasing, this is getting reduced. Okay, this is getting the within sum of squared distance is getting reduced. So 8 and 10. But you can see the graph is of what shape. Initially it was increasing, then as the number of k is increasing, the graph is coming down, that is WCSS is getting reduced. But after a certain point of time, the reduction is not much. As you can see from here to value here, there was a drastic reduction, you can see here. But within these two values, the reduction is not very prominent, and slowly this graph, if you increase the value of k to 11, 12 and more, so this line will become more parallel to the x-axis. So when it becomes parallel to the x-axis means what? K is equals to 10 and k is equals to 2, there is no difference in WCSS. So there is no point k if you are making 10 clusters or 12 clusters, it does not make any difference. This is what we can, this is what the inference we can make from this data. So basically you will get one point here which is called as an elbow point. The elbow point, why it is called, it looks like a elbow of our hand, that initially it was dropping at a high speed, but there is a small curve which is coming. Okay, a small curve which is coming. After this curve, you can see the WCSS reduction is becoming very minor. Okay, so this point, elbow point, will give you the optimal number of cluster. So for this case, if you have a data set like this, the optimal number of cluster will be between 4 and 5, that is 4 and 6, that is 5. So 5 is where you are getting the elbow point. Understood? So this can be computed. I will demonstrate you in RStudio that how you can use the elbow method to determine the optimal number of clusters which the data set can have. And then you give the optimal number of clusters. Say here I will give to my data set that I want to create 5 clusters, and it will very easily create 5 clusters based on the attribute values. Okay, so 5 can be considered here as the optimal number of clusters. So once you know the elbow method, and elbow method has given you what are the optimal number of clusters for the data set, now you can proceed with your k-means clustering algorithm. So basically it is a centroid, or you can say a distance based algorithm. So each cluster is associated with a centroid value, and the distance between any test data and the centroid is computed using the Euclidean formula, that is x0 minus xc square plus y0 minus yc square and under root or raised to the power 1 by 2. So you are assigning all the data points to the closest cluster. So you are going to compute the distance. So you are given any random point, you compute the distance between all the centroids of the cluster, and whichever is giving you the minimum value, you assign the data point to that cluster. Okay, and then you have to recompute the centroid of the newly formed cluster, and this process can be continued either or the centroids of the newly formed clusters do not change, the centroid becomes stagnant. Okay, new centroids are not being formed for the cluster, or points are remaining in the same cluster. You can see a tendency that all the points are coming to the same cluster, or maximum number of iterations or the data sets are over, right? So let me demonstrate a beautiful example for you which will be easier for you to understand. Let's say, for example, I am given a data about the height and weight of few people. Okay, and I do not know how to group them. Okay, how many classes of people I am getting here. So if your height is 185 centimeter, the weight is 72, 170 weight is 56. So this data I want to group them into clusters. So problem is you have to group let's say, for example, from my elbow method, I got that I have 2 classes here, or anyway, even if you are not going for an elbow method also, you can have a guess that I want to create only 2 clusters. Fine. So first thing what you will do, this is your first cluster, let's say K1. Okay, and second cluster is your K2. Okay, 2 clusters. Now for each cluster you require what? A centroid here, right? So what is the centroid? You do not know the centroid, because right now first you will pick up the first data. You have no prior knowledge about the class. So you pick up the first data and you say that this is the centroid of the first cluster. That is 185, 72. And for the second cluster centroid, you pick up the second data, that is second row, that is 170 and 56. Understood? Now you pick up the third data. Now the question is that this third value, that is 168, 60 will belong to which cluster? That is our question, right? So for that, to determine that, what we will do is that we will compute the distance between this test data, this is our test data to the centroid of both the clusters. So this is our centroid, right? So sample 1 and 2 are considered as random centroid values, and let's say we compute the Euclidean distance between the observed value and the centroid value. So let's say for the third row, that is 168, 60, you compute the distance between 168, 60 to the centroid of the first cluster, that is 185, 72, and the answer which you are getting is some 20.80. Done. Now you compute the Euclidean distance between this test data to the centroid of the second cluster, that is 170, 56, and the answer which we are getting is 4.48. So who is closer here? The closer one is 4. The distance is less is between this data point to K2. So this data point will belong to cluster K2. Understood? Okay. Next, after every step, when the row is assigned to a cluster, you compute the new centroid value. So how are you going to see? Centroid will not remain same throughout. Okay, the centroid will keep on changing. So that was one of the condition when you have to stop the iteration. That is, when the centroids are not at all changing, then you stop the iterations, right? So now how to compute? So for whom you will compute the new centroid? We are going to compute the new centroid for cluster K2, because one new data has been added to the cluster K2. So how will I compute the old centroid plus the new value? New value is the third row which just got added, divided by 2. So 170 plus 68 divided by 2, 60 plus 56 divided by 2. So the new centroid value for K2 is now your 169, 58. Done. Now let's say for my fourth row, pick up the next data set. Next data is 179, 68. So you have to find out that to which cluster this data will belong to. So again you have to compute the distance, Euclidean distance between this test data to the centroid of the first cluster and to the centroid of the second cluster. Now mind you that the centroid of the second cluster value has been changed. Okay. So if you repeat it, you are getting that the distance between that point to cluster K1 is 6.32 and K2 is 14.14. Okay, so for which cluster this data will belong to? Obviously K1, because the value is smaller. So fourth row will belong to cluster K1, and now you have to again compute the new centroid value for K1. Understood? So how will you compute the new centroid value for K1? I hope you will try it in your books and with your books and pencils. So how will you compute the new centroid point for this? The older value, that is 185, 72, you have to add it to whom? The fourth data point, that is 179. So 185 plus 179 divided by 2 and 72 plus 68 divided by 2. That is your new centroid of K1. Now you have to repeat the step for the fifth row again. You determine to which cluster it will belong to. Then for the sixth, then whichever cluster it belongs to, you have to update the centroid of that cluster, and so on. If you keep on repeating, and I insist that you finish it off this sum, and you will find out that for cluster K1, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so many rows belong to the first cluster, and the rest only 2 and 3 belong to the second cluster. So 2 clusters are being formed here. Okay. So I hope you understood this, and we are going to demonstrate it we are going to practice and get it demonstrated in Art Studio, where we will understand that how you can perform the elbow method and k-means clustering using various data sets. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to CSE Core Concepts, and in my upcoming videos I will demonstrate how do you perform the hierarchical and the divisive clustering approach? Thank you.